you're really claiming that I sent you an empty box? Is that what's happening here? We'll see what turns up, right? See if there's white gungy stuff inside it. Can you guess what happened next? I think you probably can. Hello and welcome to the video. For this video, I thought it would be interesting to take a look at a couple of conversations I had with eBay buyers. I sold a couple of things back in December, and I think my opinion on this is that these buyers were trying to pull a fast one. They were trying to perform a scam of some sort. I'm going to share the conversations and the photographs that were exchanged and talk about it in detail, and you can decide, you can make your own mind up. I know what I think. So let's get into it. The first item that I'm going to talk about was a steam cleaner. I'll pop the picture on here so you can see it was a Vaporetto Pulte steam cleaner. Nice item. So that was it. That was the lead image that you just saw. I sold this. I think it went to Wales, I seem to remember. For a little bit of context, I bought the steam cleaner secondhand. It was a used item. Before I listed it, I tested it. I put water in its tank, switched it on, brought it to heat, and it built up a head of steam. I set it all up and got steam coming out of the brush end of the thing. Good choice of words there, Nick. Fantastic. I tested it. It worked perfectly. Steam was coming out of the nozzle. Great. And then I emptied out the tank because there was still water in there. Let it cool, emptied it. Everything was hunky-dory, everything was lovely. Cleaned it all up, listed it, sold it within a week, I think. And off it went, on its merry way. A few days later, I received a message, which I will put on screen here so you can read it with me. Tried the steam cleaner to clean my carpet today. The steam came out like milk. Emptied the tank and it was like it had paint in it, full of grit and what looked like paint. My carpet looks like it is going to be stained when it is dry. I want a full refund plus return postage. Hopefully my carpet won't be ruined. Please see pics. And they included a bunch of pictures. So they sent 5 pictures, 2 of which are of their sink with this white, gritty substance in it. In fact, 3, I think, are of the sink. One is some white liquid on what looks like the outside of the machine. Not quite sure what that other one is, but white, gungy, gritty liquid. Now, I was surprised at this because, as I just said, I had water in it. I had it up to a head of steam and thoroughly tested it. Nothing white came out of it, just very hot steam. And if there had been some sort of paint-like liquid in the water tank when I was performing that, either it would have shown itself when I was using it and steam was coming through it, or when I emptied the tank out, it would have been there. There would have been something in there. I was very thorough, let's put it that way. So I wasn't convinced that I had sent it with this white stuff in. So either they have put something in the tank that is now showing itself when they're using it as a steamer, or they've just rigged up these photographs. So it looks like the steamer was full of some paint-like gritty liquid. I don't know. So what should I do, was my thought in this situation. And here's the thing, if they want to return that for whatever reason, they can anyway, right? I can't stop them returning it. Maybe I don't really believe the story they're saying. Nothing was adding up to me. So anyway, they can return it if they want to regardless. I can't stop that happening. So I just replied with this. Please open a return through eBay. The unit was tested and functioned fine before sold. That was it. I'm not getting into a discussion about what they're saying. I'm just saying to them, okay, open a return, end of. They replied to that and said, it does steam, but the steam is milky. And when I checked the water, it was as seen in pics, white and gritty. So they're just repeating what they basically told me and shown me before. I'm thinking, okay, right, well, they're sticking to their story and I'm going to get a return here. At this point, I'm thinking they've either used it for the job they wanted and now they would like a free return. And this is the kind of story they're using to return it as a faulty item. That's what I think I'm dealing with here. And there's not much I can do about that if that's the case. So I did reply to their last message with this. Please use eBay's return system to open a return. And as I said, I'm fully expecting a return to be opened by them. And I will get my steam cleaner back and we'll see what turns up, right? See if there's white gungy stuff inside it. But what actually happened next is, and this is not that unusual in my experience on eBay, when you have one of these kind of interactions. What actually happened next is absolutely nothing. They didn't reply. They never sent another message. They didn't open a return as I had asked them to do. And as they wanted to do, they'd requested that they would like a return. They just went away and never said another thing, which tells me there's something a bit fishy with the story, because if they've got a machine that is faulty, or is doing all of those things they're saying it's doing, and they would like to return it and get their money back, they would open a return. They've got no reason not to. I've said, okay, open a return, invited them to carry on with what they want, which is to return it for a refund, and they don't. So I don't believe their story. It feels to me that this is one of those cases where they're just trying it on to see if I'll just say, I'll just give you a refund. Don't return it. I don't want a messed up machine full of gunk. Thank you very much. Here, have your 70 odd pounds, whatever it was. Have that back. Don't return it. It's fine. And they end up with a perfect steam cleaner in good working order and their money back. I think that was, in my opinion, I could be wrong, right? But this is what it felt like. That it was a stab at getting either a partial refund offered. We don't offer partial refunds. It's return it for all your money or nothing. So we didn't offer that. We offered them to return it through the return system, and they didn't. They went away, never saying another word. So yeah, let me know if you agree. I think this was fishing for a partial, or just seeing if they could wangle a refund and maybe keep the item too, which is what I think they wanted. I never heard another thing. It's been a month now, and I don't think they are communicating anymore. I've certainly not heard anything back after my last message, which said, please, I'll read it again, please use eBay's return system to open a return. Polite and civil, but no, they didn't choose that option. Around the same time that I sold that steam cleaner we just talked about, I also sold a Dulux Paint Pod. Picture on screen here, wasn't much value in this, £20 plus post I think it was. This we bought at a jumble sale and it had never been out of the box. It was still in its packaging. I think there's a picture I can show you on screen here. It was still sealed. It had never been out of the box, never been used. So new old stock. It sold for £20 plus the post and we sent it out. A few days later, we received what I found a very odd message. Yeah, I was quite surprised at this one. This is what came in. Hello, I received the order, but Paint Pod was not included. Can you send me a paint pod? Regards, Margarita. Yeah, the paint pod was in there. It was the only thing in there. I am pretty sure I didn't send an empty box. It weighed best part of 2 kilos or something. There was definitely something in there. I think the picture that I will have just shown you was part of the original listing. And in fact, that was the very picture I sent to them when I replied. So upon reading that and being really taken aback, like, you're really claiming that I sent you an empty box? Is that what's happening here? So anyway, my reply to that message was as follows. So there you can see, there's the picture of the paint pod in the box, still in its cellophane wrapper and all of the cardboard void fill. And I said, hi, we sent an unopened paint pod with all the contents still new and sealed as per the picture on this message, which was included in the original listing. Nick. Now at this point, I really didn't know where this was going to go. I thought this one will be interesting. Are they going to continue the claim that they've received an empty box? Because that's all that's in the box is a paint pod. This thing that you attach to certain paint pod cans of paint, and it draws the paint out and up into a roller. It's like a roller painting system, I think. I've never used one. But that's all that was in the box, was a paint pod. And this, I thought this is going to be an interesting conversation. But can you guess what happened next? I think you probably can. Their response to the photograph of the sealed contents of the box, which, as I said to them, was in the original listing and my message, their response to that was absolutely nothing. Again, similar to the steam cleaner, we had no reply. They didn't open a return. Nothing happened. They didn't reply at all. What does that tell you? It tells you that they were trying a very odd way of maybe trying to get a refund. I don't know. So what can you conclude from their silence at that point? In my opinion, all you can conclude is that it was just made up. If there was any truth in it, they would pursue it. So there you go. That was a bizarre one, a very short conversation, and they went away, and that's been over a month now, and I guess they were happy. I guess they found the paint pod in the box eventually. Yeah. Let me know your opinions on this. Have you had similar conversations with buyers? What's your opinion on offering partials or only ever offering a full refund if they return it, which is what we do? I think it's well worth saying at this point, particularly if you're new to eBay maybe, or you're worried about scammers, or you're worried about selling on the internet and getting ripped off. The people that are out there that are trying to rip you off are the minority. We have sold so many thousands upon thousands of items on eBay, and I can count on one hand the amount of times I've been ripped off by scammers. They are the minority. The trouble is that when you do get ripped off, it stays in your mind. You forget about all of the thousands of transactions that go through perfectly, without hitch. And you remember that the tiny percentage of times when things went badly wrong. Most people you will sell to are honest and are not trying to rip you off. And as hopefully this video shows, if you just follow the procedure, a lot of times people will just give up and they will go away. Yeah, but there you go. That's my little story for today. Please let me know what you thought, what your opinions are on what these buyers were up to. Were they up to anything? Or, yeah, let me know your thoughts. I will pop another video up here. I'll put another scammer video if you want to carry on watching about people trying to pull a fast one on eBay. Check this video out up here. Until next time, take care. Ta-ra.